Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wrestlemania VI. And we are excited to jump into this card that looks absolutely splendid. We're off the heels of one of our most successful, most groundbreaking, and most exciting events. It was When Worlds Collide, which took place in the Tokyo Dome, and it was sold out, Daddy, by the Fed, because we are the landscape of wrestling today in 1990. If you aren't excited, get excited, because we have a hell of a card, and I know that y'all came to see what TMZ is up to. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. As always, strap in and get ready for a show as we save it, and let's run it. A lot of mystery in the second half of the card, and let's see what this card holds for that matter. And starting with a 3v3 of some of New Japan's legends. Certainly, these guys could use a little bit of popularity boost, but trust me, these six may very well be resurfacing down the line, and I don't want to make any crazy promises, but I think we got plans for these guys. But decent wrestling, little heat. I think this was a perfect situation to utilize our pre-show, just because I think it'll give them a slight popularity boost, a little bit of exposure, and these guys are some of the very best to ever lace up a pair of boots and step inside a squared circle. So I would have felt guilty had I left them off the card. But let's see where they are currently at. Muda, who had been injured prior, only a 50, but we have time. We can boost up his popularity in due time. Hashimoto, 73. He's the high man on the totem pole. Chono, 62. Fuji, 69. Hiroshi, Hase, 56. And Inoki, 65. Not bad. Again, by next WrestleMania, if these guys stay on the roster and we stay the course, I think it's going to be a lot different situation. But just these are definitely six guys you are going to want to keep an eye out for in the future. And also, the heels get the victory here when Hashimoto defeated Hase. With a cheap victory, so to speak. And then two very underrated tag team specialists, Dynamite and Michael P.S. Hayes, go one-on-one in the pre-show, and Dynamite gets the pinfall victory. I mean, Dynamite is kind of a folk hero now. I think a lot of pure wrestling fans like him, and potentially we could be seeing a singles push for him. Who knows? Let's keep it moving. I have a tendency to do that. I clicked next segment twice, but let me just backtrack a little bit and you can take a look at this match. The first segment was the Macho Man, Randy Savage, finally making his choice for the champion that he was going to face. If you do recall, at Worlds Collide, a huge bombshell was dropped. However, on television, we had been left in the dark. And again, I'm going to say, When Worlds Collide is one of the most entertaining pay-per-views that I have done. If you haven't seen it yet, I very much do suggest it. Because I'm going to basically spoil a lot of it in here as it's a building block to WrestleMania. But going back, as you will recall, Ted DiBiase dropped the bomb after the main event as Savage was about to choose his champion to face. It seemed like a very easy choice. He was going to take on Flair, try to take his belt, and win back his manhood. But DiBiase had said, Savage, Miss Elizabeth wasn't just anywhere, she was with Hogan. And since then, Hogan has tried to repair or mend fences, rather, to no avail. And here tonight, Savage was going to choose because he had held out on choosing because it's a very difficult decision. Flair basically sent Liz packing, and Hogan welcomed her with open arms, his to-be wife, and it's a really sticky situation. Well, tonight, Savage chose Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Not Hollywood, rather. Just Hulk Hogan. My mistake. Kayfabe, brother. But Savage and Hogan will go one-on-one in the main event, and the Mega Powers are going to explode here at WrestleMania VI. It happened a year earlier in real life. Well, here, very fitting. I felt like it was a slow build. Definitely something that I've been really looking forward to for a long time, so this was something really cool to pull off. And even though it is kind of replicating what happened in real life, it's felt really genuine and organic in this sim. It's been a pleasure to do this storyline, even though I feel like for you guys watching might have been something that you saw coming from a mile away. But in my eyes, this is like one of the top storylines we've done, and very slow build for the story, almost a whole year, which is crazy. And it is up there as far as like when Piper turned on Hogan, and now Savage is definitely on that pedestal. So now we are into the matches. Our first title bout is AJ Kong versus Chigusa Nagayo, and Nagayo wins. So she has beaten AJ Kong and Bull Nakano back-to-back pay-per-views, and that is putting her very much at the top of the totem pole without a doubt, and that makes it defense number 4 for Nagayo. Then we got the tag titles on the line as the Brainbusters face the Steiner Brothers. And it was a great wrestling bout with a decent reaction, and the Steiner Brothers defeat the Brainbusters with the Steiner device. And this is their first win of those titles. Super huge win for them. The Brainbusters were easily the top tag team for the better half of a year. And now we have a different team at the top of the tag division. And hopefully this can help boost the careers of the Steiner Brothers. They are definitely young prospects who have a super bright future without a doubt. And they're going to have a very good foil in the Brainbusters, because I'm sure this will not be the last we see of them. And look at their performances. The Brainbusters still on top. I expect the Steiners to get a pretty good rub out of this one. Now, here we got Dusty Rhodes cutting a promo because we have 2 6-man matches, one for the IC number 1 contendership and one for the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Dusty is in the IC title camp. Former IC champion himself is looking to win contendership to face the winner of tonight's IC title bout. But I think we're going to jump right into it, actually. Yes, we are. Adonis, Dusty, Hanson, Wyndham, Warrior, and Race. Great wrestling, good heat. The Ultimate Warrior defeats all 5 other members by pinning Adrian Adonis. Adonis 79, Dusty 91, Hanson 86, Wyndham 84, Warrior 73, Harley 90. This one really comes down to the fact that I felt like it was now or never with Warrior. In real life, he was main eventing this pay-per-view. And now I feel like it's time to really see if we can gain any traction towards, one, making him an IC champion, and two, potentially making him a world champion. Truth be told, as a child, the Warrior was one of, if not my favorite wrestler, and Bret Hart is also on that level of fandom that I had. So I very much want to give Warrior chance and chance again. And it's been really, really tough sledding to get traction with Warrior because his in-ring abilities are so limited. But we're going to see what we can do. And winning this bout is certainly going to be a good step towards getting him to the level of being a champion. But there's no guarantees, and just because he won this, I'm still, this 73 is pretty shaky. Hopefully this gives him a big enough popularity boost to where he can be a credible opponent. We'll start there, and then we'll just have to see what happens. So keep an eye out for that. See what happens with the Warrior, as well as all of these guys who at one point in time were very much reliable, always in the mix for a title. And now where do they go moving forward? A lot of older competitors, and Barry Windham being one of the younger ones. This might have been their final chance to get a title, and if it isn't, they're going to have to be very crafty as to how they get back into that title conversation. And then here we got a Piper's Pit segment where Slick Rick tells the returning Roddy Piper, who I'm excited to have back, but he's going to be gone in short time, so don't get used to him. We have Piper's Pit to celebrate him coming back. No match for him, unfortunately. I could have done it. Maybe I will, actually. But the gist of Piper's Pit was two of the best talkers just basically patting each other on the back. Piper saying, hey, I saw, you came into WWF and you stole the title right from Randy Savage, didn't ya? I can't do a Piper imitation. I was trying to channel Bruce Pritchard doing Roddy Piper. Oh, well, I guess we're just going to do that. I can't do it, though. So Piper's like, well, Flair, I saw you came in, you took the title right off of Savage, as you should, and then you embarrass Hogan, as you should, and then Flair says, look, I've beat every single opponent. I have no one yet to face, and Piper looks like he's about to stand up and challenge him, and out walks Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, with briefcase in hand. He said, Flair, I've tried to be fair to you. I've seen what you've done too. Hopefully you brought your boots, because I'm cashing in this briefcase for that NWA title you got around your shoulder. He puts the briefcase down on the table, ducks a punch from Piper, and elbows him right in between the eyes. And then we get him chasing Flair to the ring. He hands the briefcase to the referee. Ding, ding, ding. And we got a 5-star bout on our hands. Sensational wrestling, fantastic heat. Davey Boy wins the NWA heavyweight title for our first successful cash-in of the Money in the Bank. The first one, if you do recall, if you've been watching long enough, I was won by Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. And I really wanted him to, in similar, fashion, win and really elevate him to the top. And unfortunately, he had to go to rehab. These things happen in this game, and it always does suck when it's someone that you like that gets taken out of the game for you. So we had to do kind of a switch, explain it away, had DiBiase cash it in, and it would have been for his second WWF heavyweight title. But Savage was able to defeat him and retain, which was pretty neat. So Davey Boy is the first one to successfully cash it in. So mark your calendars for that, and it's a 5-star bout, no less. I feel like Davey Boy and Flair could have torn it up in 1990, no doubt about it. And this is a huge distinction for Davey Boy, and really solidifies him, because he's in the class with Bret Hart, with Sting, with Vader, and Misawa. And those guys have really, they are starting to take that next step. And Davey is a solid tag team guy. And, Vader, Sting, Bret, those guys all have tag title wins. But they also all have singles accolades. Bret Hart, the NWA US title. Vader, the King of the Ring. Sting, the King of the Ring, the IC title, and the US title. And now Davey Boy has kind of jumped that tier of title. Not to say it's a mid-card title, but and went straight for a main event title and beat a main event guy. This is huge, and I think it definitely would have been one of the marquee standout bouts of this pay-per-view. So let's keep it moving to the Money in the Bank Elimination title bout. Full disclosure, this was supposed to be a ladder match. However, I have one of the strictest pay-per-view distributors, I guess, companies, whatever, for Europe. And boneheaded move, I was looking at my card before I chose, because once you choose, it gets locked in. So I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, that should be good. Like, I don't have any cage matches, no Hell in the Cells, no, Buried Alive, no Inferno matches. Completely forgot about the Money in the Bank match. And so it's not a ladder match here. I will pretend it is, at least to make myself sleep well at night. But this is an elimination bout with Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Bret the Hitman Hart, the Main Event Misawa, trying to get that one over, and Big Van Vader. Superb Wrestling, another 5-star bout, arguably, and great heat. Misawa defeats Rude, Hennig, Hart, DiBiase, and Vader. And he will have to try to follow in the footsteps of one Davey Boy Smith. So just how we were talking about all the accolades, Misawa finally gets himself on the board with a singles accolade. Well, he has an IC title victory, or title reign rather. So I'm kind of speaking out of turn there. So forget what I said, but this is another accolade to put under his namesake, and a big win at the biggest card of them all. Vader was the high man on the totem pole, followed by DiBiase and Misawa. Actually, slightly surprised to see Rude do so well, just because I might have been territorially where we were in regionally. I know Rude hails from the AWA, and we are in Pontiac, Michigan, so perhaps that is why he did so well. But needless to say, Misawa gets the big victory here, and keep an eye out for that, because we likely have big plans in store for Mr. Main Event, Mishiro Misawa. And here we got some hype for our IC title bout. Certainly they have a very hard task of trying to follow two sensational bouts in a row. Jake the Snake has been after this IC title for nearly half a year, and it drove him to the dark side. He saw Sting as being the only way to that title, and as much as he might like him, at the end of the day, you never trust the Snake. He's been DDTing him all over Superstars, and Sting finally said, look, Jake, if I have to put my title on the line to get a piece of you in the ring, I'm going to do just that. And thus we have Sting versus Snake here at WrestleMania VI. And Jake is able to win back that IC title. Another WrestleMania bout gets tarnished by awkward chemistry. You gotta love it. I wouldn't expect anything less. Honestly, after the last two bouts, it's all gravy. Not gonna get upset about it at all. The big story here is that Jake gets back that IC title bout. Truth be told, as far as the Golden Era people, a lot of people associate that IC title with Honky Tonk, with good reason, because he held on to it for long enough. But when I think of IC title holders, I think Jake, I think Steamboat, and I guess Warrior a little bit, but that's a little bit later on. I feel like Jake just really personifies an IC title holder. He's got the gift of gab, and he can really nail it in the ring. So, and I thought this could have been a 5-star bout as well. Sting, the ultra athletic showman in the ring, and Jake, the grounded psychologist in the ring. Unfortunately, it didn't click. Otherwise, this would have been a rivalry going forward. But I think Sting, maybe he'll move on and try to get either that NWA title or the WWF title, or who knows, maybe we'll try to find a way to factor him back into the IC title picture. Nonetheless, Jake fulfills his mission, and now we will get to see what lengths he will go to keep the title that he once let slip through his grasp. But before we get to that, we got Taker, who has been having open challenges on Superstars, telling the world that he would claim a victim at WrestleMania. We'll look at who stepped up to the plate. The man who really cemented himself as a main attraction. He is the Dragon, Ricky Steamboat. And he is answering Taker's open challenge because he ain't afraid of no ghost. What can I say? Both of these guys have had great 1989s, and I think 1990 will probably be their best year to date, which is saying a whole hell of a lot, because Taker has went from, pretty good to instant main eventer. And really, the only thing that's been keeping him down the card is me, because we've had a story that we needed to tell, and I felt like we had to kind of take our time in telling it. So, that's what we've done, and that's where we are. With Steamboat, the man who has just kind of come off the heels of losing his title, looking to bounce back in a big way against the menace that is The Undertaker. Well, I think we all know how this one was going to go. And unfortunately, it ends with The Undertaker pinning Ricky the Dragon here at WrestleMania, making his record 2-0. Heyman interfered, and the chokeslam gets it done. Taker 86, Steamboat 95. Steamboat still got it, baby. No doubt about that. Won't be the last we see of Steamboat, and it won't be the last we see of Taker. But it's the beginning of something special. No doubt about that. And I would like to do this sim long enough to really see Taker's streak really take off. That would be something neat to do. Just a little, kind of like a little side quest where it's like, how long can I keep Taker's streak intact? Well, we're at 2-0, so I'll keep y'all posted on that. So keep an eye out for this, and whether these ramifications are big moving forward. And here we got pre-match interviews. Obviously didn't want to give anything away through the titles. Hulk says how, look, brother, I was just trying to protect Liz, and I knew if I told you it would break your heart. And Savage said, Hogan, a man doesn't do that to another man, let alone a friend. You tried to take something from me. I'm going to take everything from you. Here, the mega powers are about to explode. This is what wrestling is all about. Two of the best showmen, two of the best entertainers, two of the best performers in wrestling face off for the very first time in the main event of WrestleMania VI. And let's see how it does. 96, I'll take it. Not the best bout on the card, but certainly a strong ending to a wonderful night. Exceptional match. Savage defeats Hogan while using the ropes for leverage. This makes it reign number 2 for Randy Savage. Certainly great way to end this year from WrestleMania V to WrestleMania VI. It's begun with Savage losing the title to Flair, and then it ended with Savage winning the title from Hogan. Can't say much more about it. Pretty freaking great. I'm super excited about this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm very happy with the way that everything built. 96 card. What can I say, guys? You have been great. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the views. I really appreciate you guys all coming out and watching this stuff and finding it just as entertaining as I do. Because I truth be told, I love making this stuff, and I'm going to continue to do so. I think that I will go through title reigns next, before the next pay-per-view comes. The next pay-per-view will be the Crockett Cup, so we're switching it up once again. We're really keeping these pay-per-views fresh in my mind, so something to look forward to. Again, y'all have been great. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you know what I'm going to say. I'll catch you on the flippity floop.